Hello and welcome to Rauta's Reviews. Today I will do for the first time a kind of a new review concept here at Rauta, and the reason is simply put this: I got overwhelming amount of review releases pretty much all the time, and this year has been more hectic than anything prior to this in past 16 years or whatnot. Well, Rauta, technically speaking, is only 1 year and whatnot old, but nevertheless, review albums are constantly here coming in such measures that we're getting flooded. So in order to beat that amount of releases, I'm combining reviews, and in this duel format we're gonna just put one album against another and see which one is the winner. But let's first introduce today's competitors or duelists. So these are more or less randomly selected, not randomly in the sense of the release date. These are something that just recently came out and as such are top of the list, but randomly when it comes to genre and whatnot. So these are not picked in fact in order to make an interesting or less interesting duel. That is up to you to decide whether this makes any sense or not. Both albums are getting proper review, but which one is the best? That's what I'm gonna review at the end. First, let's take a look on these bands and releases in question. So first one to enter the stage, so to speak, is Void Rot from the United States of America, from the city of Minneapolis. This is a very new band, and this is their very first release. It's an MCD called Consumed by Oblivion. Now the style is doom death metal combination, and curiously enough, all the kind of a name-dropping bands mentioned in the promo letter are Finnish bands, which is kind of a funny considering that this is an American band, and one might think at least that not doom death metal was not invented in Finland, or not any prominent for that matter. But well, to be honest, there are quite a few doom death metal bands in Finland, so in a way I guess it makes a little bit of sense, and if not, well, who cares. So this is the cover, just a piece of paper basically. There is no booklet, there are no lyrics. This is a what's the stain there? Just spit, I guess. So this is a mini CD with 3 songs, about 15 minutes, very simple in design, very brown in color, brown and black that is. So it kind of fits the mood here. It's mostly slow tempo, well, doom material always is, and then there are some faster parts which are more leaning towards kind of traditional 90s death metal. And then these two are kind of like blended in a blender, and that creates these 15 minutes of heavy kind of a traditional doom death metal. Quite okay, but not top-notch band. So how will it stand out when the competitor comes from Singapore? Yes, you heard it right. Now I must assume that everybody knows bands like Impiety. Well, if not, maybe Destroyer 666 rings a bell. If that, maybe this doesn't actually belong to you, but nevertheless, this is Infernal Execrator. Obsolete Ordinance is the name of the album. It's the second album by this band, which I think was founded in 2005. So a few mini CDs or split demos, whatnot there, and now second full-length album 2018. This is, on the contrary to the previous album, Void Rot, this is actually a very thick booklet which includes really badass band pictorial. Well, in a way, these are drawn, obviously. And of course, some other nice imagery like burning religious books and temples. Nice design in this booklet, in my opinion. Very kind of a gory and very comic book-like, but I think there's a lot of personality in this release, and coming from Singapore, well, that adds clearly a layer of exotic features and taste to this music. Now the music then again is like pretty much of the bands already mentioned there, Impiety and Destroyer 666, so that is for those that don't know the bands or their style, kind of a combination of death metal, black metal, and even some thrash metal. One could even say melodic death metal also, because Destroyer 666 is very much known for the melodic riffs and guitar solos and whatnot. And so here's the backside booklet of the Singaporean band. Very nice design, and I kind of like this white and reddish, kind of a dried blood, brown red colors of the design. And here's finally the CD. So totally two different schools of bands. Now Infernal Execrator is actually very fast tempo, almost all the way down. It lasts more than 35 minutes and it's just like relentless beating, pure violence, war and hatred. Now this combination is very typical to many death black bands, especially those that are coined in with the term war metal. This is not as such a typical war metal band, but more between Impiety and Destroyer 666, because there are lots of melodies that in fact remind me of Destroyer 666, but then again this is more on the fast tempo side, so more traditional Black Death combo, very vicious, very feral, kind of in your face type of beating. Normally most of these bands end up being quite boring because they don't have very clever or original riffs, and the lack of variety easily kills the enthusiasm when it comes to listening to this kind of a subgenre. But this one is actually better than I expected, because when songs are mostly fast tempo, you need some killer riffs like Marduk's Panzer Division Marduk, obviously. But more than that, usually these bands just put some kind of a B-class riffs there, which end up killing the whole power on the album. That is, if the quick tempo is only violent thing you have on the album, then you're clearly doing something wrong. Now this is not the catchiest of the riffs, except for those really brilliant melodic parts, which then again remind me of Destroyer 666. The kind of a rhythmic changes, you know, the tempos going up and down, even though it's mostly fast, that actually makes this album pretty nice. And as such, this is clearly beating most of the competitors in the genre. Now, it should be pretty clear which one I think is the better of these two duelists. Voidrod is doing some nicely boom boom, but missing half the time. That is quite okay in the genre, but then again, bringing no new bullets to the fight. Whereas Infernal Execrator, meanwhile, it's kinda, you know, known for its style, of the reasons I already mentioned. It has way more killing blows which actually land on the face of somebody taking them. And as such, I would declare out of these two competitors, this Singaporean band to be the killer. Boom! Ouch! And here lies the winner. If you only have to pick one out of these two, which you obviously don't, pick the Singaporean one. Then again, if you just hate the fast tempo beating, or you have some other issues with Singapore, well, then go for the Voidrod. That is obviously always the choice here. Thank you for watching this new review concept. Give us your feedback. I'm totally looking for it because, well, probably going to continue with this one nevertheless, but your feedback is always much appreciated, and if you're too lazy or not willing to keep your feedback, at least I hope you check out these bands and make up your mind yourself. See you soon with more Rauta reviews to come up your way. Cheers!